Winter has a way of making silence feel loud. I learned that the hard way during the winter I agreed to house sit a cabin deep in the mountains of northern Maine. The owner was an older man who only used the place during summer. In winter, the road leading up to it was barely maintained. Thick pine trees surrounded the cabin on all sides, and once the sun went down, the darkness felt heavy, like it was pressing in from every direction. The first night was quiet. Too quiet. The snow outside fell gently, piling up against the windows. The only sound inside was the crackle of the fireplace and the ticking of the old wall clock. Sometime around 2:30 in the morning, I woke up needing water. As I walked past the front window, something made me stop. Footprints. Fresh footprints in the snow. They came from the tree line, straight to the front porch. But there were no footprints leading away. I stood frozen, staring at them, my breath fogging the glass. I told myself it was probably the owner checking in. Maybe a hunter. Maybe I just hadn't noticed them earlier. Still, I locked the deadbolt. The next morning, the footprints were gone, completely covered by fresh snowfall. That night, the wind picked up. The cabin creaked as if something heavy was leaning against it. Around midnight, I heard a slow, deliberate crunch outside. Footsteps. Not running. Not pacing. Just one step. Paused, another step. They circled the cabin. I held my breath, heart pounding, listening as the sound stopped directly outside my bedroom wall. Then came 3 soft knocks. Not banging. Not frantic. Just calm, patient knocking. I didn't answer. The knocking stopped. The next morning, the snow showed something that made my stomach drop. Bare footprints. No shoes. No socks. Just deep, human footprints pressed into the snow, leading right up to my bedroom window. And this time, they ended there. I left that day. The owner later told me something he had never mentioned before. Years ago, a man froze to death outside that cabin after getting lost in a blizzard. They never found his boots. I worked overnight dispatch for a small-town police department in Minnesota. Winter nights were usually quiet. Roads closed. People stayed home. Until the night of the blizzard. Snow was coming down so hard, it looked like static on the security cameras. Visibility was almost zero. Around 1:47 a.m., a call came in. A woman's voice. She sounded calm. Too calm. She said, "I think someone is in my car with me." I asked her where she was. She gave me a highway number that had been shut down hours earlier. I asked her to describe what she meant. She whispered, "I can hear breathing." I told her to turn on the interior light. She went silent for a moment. Then she said, "There's frost on the inside of the windows." That didn't make sense. Her car had been reported abandoned earlier that evening after a spinout. I asked her if the engine was running. She said no. Then she added something I'll never forget. "He's breathing warm air, but I can't see him." The line crackled. I heard a slow exhale, not from her phone, from somewhere else. Then the call ended. We sent units immediately, but the storm slowed everything. When they reached the car hours later, it was buried in snow. No one inside. No footprints around it. But the back seat was damp, like snow had melted there. That night, the towing company found something frozen under the car. A man, curled up beneath it. The medical examiner said he'd been dead for days. The call came from that phone anyway. I grew up in a rural town where winters felt endless. One December, a snowman appeared at the end of our road. No one knew who built it. It wasn't there in the morning, but by nightfall, it stood perfectly shaped, facing directly toward our house. Every morning after that, it was closer. At first, we thought kids were messing around. But then my dad noticed something wrong. The snowman didn't melt. Even on warmer days, it stayed solid. Its coal eyes were always dry. One night, my younger sister started crying. She said the snowman was waving. We laughed it off until we looked outside. Its stick arm was raised, pointing at her bedroom window. The next morning, it stood at the edge of our yard. That night, my dad destroyed it, smashed it apart with a shovel. The next morning, it was back, rebuilt, closer, with a new detail, a mouth made of human teeth. We called the police. They never came. That night, the snowman was gone. In its place were footprints, bare footprints, leading to my sister's window. She disappeared that winter. Every year since, after the first snowfall, a snowman appears at the end of that road again, facing the house where we used to live.